Expo Rich, and I'm honored today to be joined by Michael Armstrong, um, a leader in the pop culture industry. We know each other quite a few years now, working together on some of the past events, and I'm excited to have you on to talk about all of your new ventures. So thank you for coming on today, Mike.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
You too, man. And yeah, really exciting stuff. You know, we started to talk before we got hot mics, but man, that like you guys are already trailblazers with the new launch. I mean, we were talking about your Fanatics event in New York, and this was like such a huge success in that launch, and you know, I mean, definitely broke records as far as biggest launch ever in Javits. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that and how exciting that was to and you had a very short runway.
Very short, yeah. Yeah, it was quite a run, man. Like we wrapped a WWE show in April, and then the next Tuesday we're out with Fanatics Fest. So we went from, we really had in market April to August.
Wow.
Which is an incredibly tight turnaround, as you're very well aware. And like to, you know, we came into Fanatics, which is a very established business, 21,000 employees across the world, like huge business, but no event infrastructure. That's somebody who came from a trade show company.
Right.
You know, I had the privilege of being able to talk to Greg Vautrin and talk through finances and talk to great lawyers and have Mike Grant handling operations and like being there to support all those things. We didn't have that, so we had to build all that stuff along the way, like beg, borrow, and steal from the rest of the company where we could, so that we could focus on what we're good at, which is selling tickets, compiling content, creating great experiences for fans. So to be able to pull off what we did, and to not have had any of that infrastructure, like as somebody who is, you know, behind the drapes, as you say, like, you know, I think I hope we did justice by the people in this room who, you know, care about the details.
I had this, someone had said a great analogy once. It said, it's like you're trying to change tires going 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know, that's really what
fly the airplane as you're building it.
Yeah.
That was, we used that phrase way too much over those 4 months.
Yeah, that's wild. I know we jumped right into your event, but my original purpose of even starting this podcast is to learn more about the people doing the stuff. You know, like you promote Fanatics, you promote brands, you promote events, but nobody ever learns about the people that are doing it. And that's why I like this format, because I wanted to hear everyone who's involved sit down and have a conversation about how you guys started. So what is your origin story getting into the trade show and event business?
Yeah, I don't really know how it happened. I went to school for marketing, left school, started working for minor league baseball teams. I knew I wanted to work in baseball. I like being around the sport. I like being in the stadium. I like kind of doing that and just kind of want to be there and be a part of the team. And did that for 3 years until I couldn't afford it anymore. And you know, I stumbled into a trade show company and had a friend who worked there and was a great referral for me, and I got in and I started selling. I sold G2E, Interfex, Book Expo, like I did all the, you know, tried and true read shows, and it was great. And I kind of realized what I liked most about working in baseball was the fact that, you know, there were 82 games a year at home, and you know, it was an event every night, and you were doing birthday parties and corporate events and selling sponsorships, like you did everything. We cleaned the stadium at the end of the night, like, and I like kind of like that all hands on deck sort of situation. And so I did B2B at Reed for about 1.5 years. I was broke. I was broke, and they just changed how we were paid. They started paying overtime at my level, because I was very entry level.
Right.
And I was like, all right, I'll do anything, because I just need the cash. So I ended up working New York Anime Festival in 2009, and that's where I met Lance, who kind of like took me under his wing and you know, brought me over to the Reed Pop shows when there was a space for me. I started selling Star Wars Celebration, which I did for 2 of those shows. Started selling New York Comic Con, C2E2, all the different launches that we had along the way, all the acquisitions like Emerald City and Florida SuperCon. So I kind of grew up in the pop culture space. I did that for close to 14 years. And left for Fanatics about 18 months ago. But you know, I've been really lucky to work at such a great company like Reed, and then Reed Pop, and like have all the infrastructure to be able to work with really smart people, and you know, just try to absorb everything I can along the way. One thing that was always really important to me was, you know, I came up through sales, and sales is a really easy way to measure your value to a company, because you can point to a number and be like, I did this. And then when you crush those goals, they let you try other things, and they let you see what other things are like. So I got really into marketing, started doing some content, and then just kind of fell into event management through sales. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, you name dropped a few people, and I always like to hear about people that pulled you up along the way. So you talk more on some of your mentors that helped you along the way and built your career with you.
I got hired at Reed by Greg Topalian, who's a legend.
Yeah.
And it was to sell sponsorships for some of the big trade shows. And I'll never forget, like, we bonded over baseball, as everyone does with Greg.
Yeah.
We started talking about obscure Mets relievers from the 90s, which is my specialty. And he kind of hit it off. And I remember he told me, like, and this might have been a throwaway comment for him, but, like, meant a lot to me at the time. He was just like, you know, you can run this place in 15 years if you want to. And I was like, all right, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So I just, kept working my ass off, kept networking the internal organization to see where there were other opportunities, where I could develop relationships. So Topalian was a big one for me. Fensterman, obviously, Lance, who was my boss at Reed Pop for a long time, and I came over to Fanatics with, just awesome leadership, and kind of taught me about what's important, and what's important is not always necessarily the result, it's the people you do it with, and if you can develop a good culture, the results can come. Culture eats strategy for lunch, I think is the phrase.
I like that.
Yeah, and we're big believers in that, and that's how we've kind of purposely built our Fanatics team.
Yeah.
Greg Vautrin is the CFO at Reed, just was always willing to kind of talk you through any issue, and explain things to you along the way, not tell you what you're doing wrong, but explain how you can get to the right place. Everybody I've ever dealt with at Freeman, good people, and just kind of taking those learnings and bringing them along with me wherever I go.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and the names that you dropped, we all know, definitely legends all in this industry, and done a lot of great things for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And what is? Now we're rounding out 24. What's 2025 looking like for you guys over there at Fanatics?
If you know anything about our boss, the founder of Fanatics, a guy named Michael Rubin, he's not someone who slows down. And I think the directive we've gotten after Fanatics Fest was, that was amazing, go make it bigger. And so being able to work with our friends at Javits to get better dates, a little bit more space, and we're taking that to heart. We're going to grow it as best we can. And once we get a solid foundation in New York, when we can get it to 100,000 people, then I think we see a second large Fanatics Fest around the country, maybe take it international. And I'm really passionate about doing some smaller events. I want to do other cities. I want to bring collectibles only shows to the market, because when I think about where we were with Comic-Cons in 2010, there was a lot of owners who were doing it as a side hustle, a lot of kind of like unprofessional event organizers who maybe ran a shop or something who did a con. And I think us with New York Comic Con and C2E2, we leveled up the space, and it caused other people to do the same thing. And I think the same can be said for sports card shows. Trading card shows are still kind of stuck in the 80s, and the more we can level up ourselves, the more other people will feel like they need to meet it, and then I think it's good for everybody.
All good things. You have an amazing team, amazing culture, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in 2025 for Fanatics Events. Thank you so much for doing this today. I really appreciate this, and thanks for being here.
All right, my pleasure. Good to see you.